Hello. The lady said we could do an interview with Sarah, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course you can. Do you want to stand somewhere? In a corner?
We can if it's easier to do.
Yes, rather than sitting here with my friends who's But I'm not going back there.
Right.
It is a little bit dark.
Just stand it over.
Yeah, stand over there.
What's your name?
My name's Paula. It's lovely to meet you.
Hello.
He's been my lovely assistant today.
I'm the silent part when the interview.
And you're a local community radio?
Yeah, we're from Teesside's just down the road.
Okay.
About like half an hour's drive or so away. So this is probably going to seem like a really odd question. But you were in a film called Quest of the Delta Knights with David Warner, in which he played both the villain and the hero, and it's mystified us for years. Do you have any idea why he played both parts?
Didn't realise he had.
Fair enough. I just thought I had to get that out of the way.
I have no recollection. I have a recollection of the film because I can remember being overly thrilled at working with David.
Yes.
And Olivia Hussey. Yeah. And we were above San Francisco. See, I remember the location.
Right.
And we were cavorting around in are you recording this?
I am.
You didn't even say you'd started.
Oh, sorry.
You're going to have to say next time. Right, we are recording.
I apologise.
But no, I don't recall.
Yes.
There's been quite a few. I do remember the circumstance because I can remember very clearly working with David and have consequently done lots of audios with him. And I see him quite often, which is nice. But I can remember as a girl from Stratford-on-Avon, which I am, and growing up to absolutely worship and admire him because I remember him at Stratford playing Hamlet. My mum was the physiotherapist, so we at Stratford Theatre, so I got to meet everybody at an early age. And David was one of her patients. And when we were doing that film, Quest of the Delta Knights, or whatever it's called, I can remember looking around, and there was David all dressed up in his funny old. We were in some sort of Renaissance fair. It was all very odd. I can remember saying to some of the crew, "Do you realise who David is?" And of course, most of them, young American boys, had no idea.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh my God, it's David Warner!" But lovely man. So if you can figure out why from the story, I'm amazed you've even seen the film. If you let me know, because I've never seen it.
We stumbled across it years ago, and he was playing the hero, and then the villain showed up, and it was also David Warner, but in a beard.
Well, maybe they ran out of money.
Maybe they did.
Who knows?
But when I was sort of looking at your IMDb page, I was like, "Oh, she was in Quest of the Delta Knights." I thought I must ask because it might be my only opportunity to ask someone.
Yeah, no, sadly, you can ask me about most films and I won't have an idea. I'm still struggling. I struggle with anything to do with anything science fiction-y, fantasy. I never quite understand what the hell's going on. But we won't tell the public.
No, we won't tell.
No.
We'll cut that bit out. Have you seen any of the new Supergirl series?
Yeah, I've just got back from LA, so the new season is just starting. I'm a relative fan in that I'm not a great fan of that kind of thing. Yeah. But I've certainly, of course, I've watched her, and I've watched it particularly. There was quite a campaign that went on Twitter to get me in the show.
Yeah.
And they, and of course, it would be a real treat for me. And they called my bluff a bit last year because they were obviously getting inundated with emails and texts from people. And I think they called on the Monday night. My agent called me at about 10 o'clock on a Monday night, said, can you be in LA for Thursday morning, 6 a.m. on the set?
Yeah.
Surprisingly not. So they'd got a role and they said, I think they got so fed up with everybody, they did come up with something, but it wasn't overly exciting.
Right.
And so I'm hoping that they will do the right thing by me and all my fans and give me something to go, because I go back and forth to LA all the time. But you can be sure that when I'm here, they want me there.
They've been quite good, really, with getting people in from the different Superman eras, and
exactly.
And Linda Carter's just taken a role as well.
Yes, I know, and that's big billboards all over Sunset Boulevard for us to drive up and down and look at. No, it's very exciting, and I think they've moved to Vancouver, haven't they, to shoot it?
Yes, since they changed networks.
Yes, So, and I shot I did a couple of episodes of Stargate in Vancouver. I love Vancouver.
Yeah.
Happy to go to Vancouver. But anyway, we'll see.
So what was it like filming lots of parts of Superman 2 twice? Was that quite a strange experience?
Well, not really, because I mean, obviously there was quite a big period in between, possibly 9-10 months in between reshooting stuff, if not longer. And also, as an actress, to shoot something with two completely different directors, the same thing, is it's a brilliant experience.
Yeah.
Because they were both very, very different. Richard Donner and Richard Lester could not be further from each other in every respect. Richard Lester is very English and quite Thai and done up and quite serious in my mind. Richard Donner is definitely a Californian, with his tinted blue glasses and his slightly long hair, and very laid back and a lovely approach. And of course, all the actors adored Richard Donner because he was, as we describe, an actor's director. He was really, it was whatever made us feel more comfortable and feel better. Richard Lester was definitely a technical director.
Yeah.
So it was the cameras came first and the angle came first, and then we just had to fit in. It felt like we had to fit into his idea.
Yeah.
So it was very different. But in those days you just did it. I took it on as the most normal thing in the world. I don't know what I think nowadays.
Yeah.
I probably have a bit of an opinion, but back then I didn't. I just got on with it.
I forgot to ask at the start. Is it okay if I take
all right.
a couple of pictures of the interview?
Yes, of course.
Yes. I don't just like to get the phone out.
No, it's okay.
It'll go up on our YouTube channels. It's just something to sort of go in the background.
That's all right.
What's it like sort of been working with so many different directors over the years, like film to TV? Is it quite different?
What is different is doing big budget films to low budget films.
Yeah.
That is very different because you're working in a completely different pace. As far as directors go, television, of course, is much more contained.
Yeah.
I much prefer working on film. Is what I'm comfortable with. There was a moment was it 4 or 5 years ago? I was doing a film called Witchville, and I was out in China, and it was sort of 5:30 in the morning or 6 a.m. and we were out on this big northern plains of China, and I was all dressed as a witch just for a change. And when I don't know, yes, I was a witch. I was an evil, wicked queen witch.
Right.
And I was out there in the middle of nowhere, and it was terribly still, and the sun was rising, and there was the makeup artist and the sound. There were all these people, and I was sitting on a little box, just resting up in the middle, waiting for the scene to be set up. And they were all getting me ready, and I can remember just having that little moment, which periodically do, just thinking, this is it. This is the moment. It's all about me. But it's that wonderful thing where everybody's focusing on you. So for that split second, you really, you just appreciate how much goes into the next few seconds. I mean, there were masses of people. They're doing my feet, they're doing my hair, they're doing, everything's going on.
You're just being pulled this way and to that.
And also, it's your time. And mostly on a filming day, you don't get a lot of your time.
Yeah.
Mostly, it's sitting around or waiting around or somebody else. So when you get your little moment, it's rather splendid.
Do you get recognised often? Do you hear people sort of going, "Oh my God, it's Eartha"?
I do in America.
Right.
In America all the time. Here, not so much. And also the English being the English, are a little bit more reserved. Yeah. And also in America, I'm on television a lot because things are being rerun all the time. So people have a sense that they've seen you. I get here, don't I know you from somewhere, a lot.
Yes.
But in America, it's I'm always absolutely amazed that it's trying to figure out when you get into the lift, the person that's looking at you, and you know the look, you see it, you see the eyes narrow, and then you see it sort of slightly quizzical, and it's working out, do they think they know you because you might be a relative, or do they know you from the telly? Do you ignore them, or do you smile? And usually whatever you do, it's the wrong thing.
Right.
I recently was doing not recently, probably 3 years ago, probably 5 years ago actually, doing a little play in a place called the Trafalgar Studio, which is just off Leicester Square.
Okay.
And I was doing a play, and I went into the coffee shop in the morning, which I did every morning at about 10 o'clock in the morning. And there was there's a T-shirt that all the boys wear, certainly in my neck of the wood, West Hollywood in LA, with Kneel Before Zod on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the boys have changed and have got Kneel Before Ursa.
Right.
And which always makes me smile, because I just think, it's from the looks of it. And anyway, so I went into the coffee shop, and there was a young boy, and he was quite fey and sort of, I don't know what he was, but he was quite a delicate flower, and he was in front of me, and he got his coffee, and he turned around, and he'd got the T-shirt on with my face on the front, and it said Kneel Before Ursa. And he looked at me, and he gave me one of those looks that people do, that I thought, oh, he's recognised me, except I looked like it was 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was rehearsing, and I got no makeup on, and I certainly looked very rough. But I thought, oh, my glory. Oh. So I smiled at him, and I looked down at the T-shirt, and I said, and it said Kneel Before Ursa. So I said, go on then. And he looked at me, and he went, pervert, and rushed out of the room. And of course, poor lad, he thought some old middle-aged woman was hitting on him. I don't know what he thought, but anyway, I put it on Twitter later on, and it does seem that a lot of people had a lot of fun with it, and the poor boy nearly died when he realised that he made the connection. But no. It's a different sort of an audience here. I think if you're on television here, you're much more likely to be recognised in America, and that's why have been on television a lot in America. And also my voice gives me away, because people hear it and they immediately think, oh, she's a bit different. Yeah, she's English, and so there's people make that connection a little bit quicker. But it does happen in the most unlikely places.
What would you say you're most proud of with your body of work?
I know things that I'm not so proud of. It's funny. I'm asked this question a lot, and I change my mind all the time. And as you've asked me this morning, I was just thinking that I did an episode of Doctors playing a transgender, which I was really pleased with, and I've just looked at it again actually, and I thought, well, that's good, because it was a bit of acting. Yeah. I don't get a lot of shots at acting. I get lots of evil, wicked queens with different hats on, and I do it relatively well because I've done it a million times. So when I get something, and the Doctors episode, I really enjoyed doing that. Of all the things, of course, Superman, you can't not be proud of that, because to work, I was prouder of who I worked with. I mean, working with Brando and Gene Hackman when you're a young actress, and then of course, we all, Christopher and Margaret, we all started together on the film, and it's amazing. I mean, I've just come back 2 weeks ago from Australia and New Zealand. It's brilliant to think I'm still flying all over the world to meet the fans, and they're wanting to come out and meet from Superman, which was 1,000 years ago, And in fact, you're here talking. It's taken me a while to sort of really appreciate the Superman, because as an actor and having trained all my life, you're thinking like, well, yeah. So I had a wig on and boots on, and I looked pretty mean, and I could fly. But the fact of it is yes, people are very. It's made a difference to a lot of people, and that I'm proud of. But I'm equally proud of the little jobs, as I said, the Doctors, or the odd episode, or it was a little thing I did called Changing Direction, which was a short film, which was set in Sweden, because in it I act. I'm playing. It's set in the 60s, and I'm playing a lady who has it's a lovely story about the day that they changed. They used to drive on. What do we drive on, the left side or the right side?
We drive on the left.
We drive on the left. Well, they used to drive on the left, and overnight they changed over to driving on the right.
Right.
In Sweden, and it was a story about that, and it was a nice little short film, which I did again because it was. I don't mind doing a short film. I don't mind doing anything. It's nice to actually do some acting.
Yes.
That's what we need to do.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Do you have any upcoming projects that you want to tell us about?
No, I've finished. I've got a film just coming out called Displacement. But
Displacement.
Displacement, which I shot in in LA, which is, I think it's just been released in America, which again is a sci-fi film. There's a lot of stuff about quantum physics and time travel, so don't ask me.
Right.
Don't ask me about that. But thank you for talking to me.
Oh, thank you.